All right, what's up, you guys? I'm a little late, a couple weeks late to be exact. Bam Rodriguez stopped Juan Francisco Estrada, and I think it was a great performance. I think he made it a lot easier than what I expected it to be. Okay, but I did pick him to win. I did think that he was going to win the fight. Estrada just being older and not being active, it just wasn't enough there for me to pick him to win. Excuse me. I just think overall, anyway, I think Bam, at least already at his age, I think he's overall the better talent. I just think he can do more in the ring. I think he's just a little bit more textbook. I think he's more athletic. I think he's faster. I think he's got better legs. I just think overall he's just a better fighter than Estrada. I think Estrada was good, and I think he is definitely the most successful out of the four kings. As far as their fights are concerned with each other. But I also just just believe that stylistically, going into this fight, and I think I did do a breakdown. I'm not sure. I think I did a breakdown like prior to the fight, but like last minute. So sorry if you didn't see it. But I just, it's been a while. Estrada again wasn't really active. And the last time I seen him against a southpaw or a fighter that fought as a southpaw was Sorung Visayas, which he lost. I know he fought him in a rematch and won, but Sorung Visayas didn't fight him as a southpaw for the majority of the fight in the rematch. So I don't really count that. So I just think that Bam had too many advantages going into the fight. And I think that even though he was less experienced, I think he's gained enough in experience in his most recent fights to really know how to deal with Estrada at this point. Even in both fights against the Christian Gonzalez and the Israel Gonzalez, Sonny Edwards, fighting Sorum Visay and Quadras. I think those fights were enough of what he needed, the experience he needed, and sparring and going that many rounds with Chocolatito. I think he had more than enough of what he needed necessary to win this fight. All right. In which he did. I think he won every round except the sixth round where he got dropped. He was able to drop Estrada in the fourth. He hurt him and buzzed him a couple of times before that. Just little things like, keeping that lead foot on the outside. Just getting a clear shot right at Estrada's head at times, being able to step around him. Just the angles, take advantage of the angles that he had. Again, I think when he fought like a guy like Israel Gonzalez, Israel was tricky because he moved so well. He fought well on the back foot and he was able to switch. So I think there are certain fights that were just more difficult for Bam. I think Israel, Christian, I'm sorry, I was talking about Christian before in this movement. Israel was a guy that was able to match Bam's volume, throw more punches, and he was durable enough to take the punches. So those fights were a little bit more difficult in my eyes than some of the bigger names that he fought. But Bam, in my opinion, just showed how much of a complete fighter that he is. And I think at this weight at 115, I don't think that anyone beats him. And I know Martinez. And look, and this is a thing, man. Fernando Martinez just beat Kazuto Yoka, right? And um, I'm not a big Kazuto Yoko fan, And when I say that, it's like he's a good fighter. I understand he won a lot of titles in a lot of divisions and stuff, but I just don't. I didn't rate him as high as some of the other content creators that I do watch and listen to that I respect. I never rated him that high. I didn't think he was. He didn't fight any of the four king guys, and even though he won a lot of titles in different divisions, was kind of winning a single title, moving up, not really proving that you're the complete prep best. Not and that's my thing. I think that I've seen people put that have Bam in the top 5 pound for pound, which I think that's a little too high at this point. It's just too many fighters in this sport to rate him that high. I understand if he's in your top 10, cool. But I just can't put him that high yet. I need to see him fight someone that is fresh and that's dangerous for him in order for me to put him in a top five. Top five is too much. I think for me, like, I'm not a pound for pound channel. And, it's just too much to keep. Every weekend you can change the list, damn near every weekend. But I'm not a pound for pound channel. But I will say this. I think the clear best fighters for me in the sport right now, for me, is, Usyk, Crawford, Inoue, and I would have to say Beterbiev and Bivol, even though they're, and Canelo. I don't think the list, those six, I said five, those are six people. I don't think the list begins until after those six people. Just my opinion. Wherever I put whatever order they're in, I don't think the list begins after those six. I think after those six, then you can mix it up. And that's just my opinion. You might disagree with that. You might have Tank up there. You might have Bam up there. You might have, I don't know, whoever. But I just don't think that beating a Estrada right now guarantees you a position in the top five. And look, Yoka, I brought him up a minute ago. He lost to Martinez. Again, I don't even think he won both of those Franco fights. I think the first fight, I think Joshua Franco won. So Yoka is a good fighter, and so are the Four Kings and all of that. I get it. They're great, and it was a great win. It was a great win. I don't want to take anything away, but I'm talking about as far as pound for pound status. I think it's fair to put him in the top 10, like 9 or 10 area, or maybe right outside of that. I think he's in a discussion. I do think that he's probably there right now, maybe at the 10th spot, But I would like to see someone dangerous. And I think Sonny Edwards was the youngest, the freshest one that he fought. But how high did I rank Sonny Edwards? I don't have Sonny Edwards as a top 20 fighter before that fight or after. I don't have him there. I never had him there. So even though I thought that was a good win, I think there are fighters that are truly dangerous for him. And I think that guy is Junto Nakatani. And I know Nakatani is not at the division anymore. And I think Nakatani also needs a win, like against Bam Rodriguez. I think, in a perfect world, if it was up to me, and when it comes to Inoue is already there. But in a perfect world, and it may not happen in this order, but I would love to see Junto and Bam fight each other and to win the fights Inoue before Inoue goes to 126. I would like Inoue to stay right there at 122. Fight Doheny, fight Goodman, fight MJ. I would love MJ to be the opponent. I know it's not gonna be him, but Inoue's already fought guys on that level before at the division, so he has nothing to pull at 122. But I would like him to stay there because I would love to see him fight Nakatani or Bam. I would love that. I would love to see that fight. But I just think that guys like Nakatani and Bam, for me, and I have Nakatani like maybe right outside of that pound for pound list. I think Nakatani, I rated Nakatani over what's his face? I was just saying his name. Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards, good. Lack of power was the issue. And I think the fight wasn't that hard to call because of that. Even though he could switch, even though he's tricky, again, once you cut and shut all that movement down, it wasn't that hard for Bam to take care of him. It was just only a matter of time. But I think a guy like Nakatani, who has the power and the range and know how to use it and the size, he's very dangerous for Bam. I think that's his most dangerous opponent right now. I think Bam should obviously fight Martinez. Being that Martinez just fought Yoka. I know Bam would I love to fight the winner of that fight, so I think he should fight Martinez. And obviously if Estrada doesn't exercise his rematch clause, because I don't want him to. I don't want rematch clauses to be activated if it was like a clear domination, man. And I know Estrada was inactive, but I just don't. It's just a talent gap between them two. Even with all the lack of experience with Bam, it was just a talent gap. Like Bam just can do things that Estrada is just wasn't going to be able to deal with. You know what I mean? This is why I just couldn't pick him. It's funny because Chocolatito even welcomed the match with Bam. Even with the relationship they have, the amount of respect that they have for each other, he's still willing to do it. And I think Bam beats him too at this point. I just think that at 115, the Martinez fight makes the most sense because Martinez did look good against Kazuto. But at the lower weights, for me, it has to be. And I see Nakatani being the best guy at 118, and I see Bam being the best fighter at 115. Man, I need like a win against one, like that kind of win, like against a real top two, like dangerous fighter. That's for me. Not picking on him. Understand? Like I don't want you guys to think I'm picking on him. I feel like this with every fighter. I think that you gotta really, and I have Bivol and Better BF up there, even though they're in the same division, they didn't fight each other. These guys have consistently fought dangerous fighters to me. Very dangerous. Not saying Bam hasn't, but I just knew the outcome of these fights. Just knew it every single time. And I think Bam, one thing about Bam is the timing and the matchmaking has been perfect for him. But he's got in there right on time, and he's been able to secure, Eddie's been able to secure the right fights with him for the perfect time. And not everybody's gonna get that, especially in the lower divisions where most fighters don't avoid each other. If Bam was the same guy at 147, I don't think it would have been this easy. If he was at 147 or 160, not even 147, because I don't want to diss 147 like that. But if he was at 160, he would have been avoided. He would have been avoided. Look at Janabek right now. And I know he didn't have this fight, but who was he fighting again? I don't even know. Nobody at 160 fights each other. If Bam was up there, it might have been the same thing. So people got to understand that the timing was right. And I do think he's a top 10. But before I put him in that type 5 fight spot, I got to have Canelo there. I got to have Bivol and Better Be It there. Even though they're in the same division and don't have multiple belts in this division. These guys, I don't know. I'm the kind of guy that believes that it's more important to prove that you're the best fighter right now in your division. That Bam, I believe he is. But what is the level of danger in the fights? I don't think Sonny Edwards was that. I don't believe that the 3 of the 4 Kings at this point is as dangerous as they were a few years back. At least a few years back. Shocked me. And that's the way I look at it. So, yes, he's a top 10, but I can't put him against some of those other guys that I just think, are just barely above him as far as ranking. And that's Better BF, Bivol, Crawford, Inoue, Usyk, those guys I just think Canelo. You know what I mean? Those are my clear 6 for me. And then everybody else after that. I think Bam should be there after that in one of those 4 remaining spots. Just the way I look at it. All right. So good performance. It was a great fight. Well, it wasn't. It was a dominant fight. He got dropped in the 6. He got lazy. He was just his momentum was too good, and he got caught sleeping. and he got caught with a good shot. Forgot that Estrada has power. But he got back up and fought like a champ. You know, it was a flash knockdown. He wasn't badly hurt. You know, you can even make the argument that he might have edged the rest of the round after the knockdown. But that's the only round that I gave to Estrada. I think every other round, I think the cards were embarrassing, man. The cards, one judge had it a draw before the knockout. One had him winning up, you know, he was up 58-54, which is kind of right for me. And then another judge has had it 56-57 for Estrada. That's crazy. Estrada lost every round clear before that fight was stopped. All right, stopped him in the 7th round with a body shot. One of the best knockouts of the year. One of the best body shots of the year. Put him down. Had him rolling around in agony. Great stoppage. One of the best, I think, one of the top 10 fighters of the year. Not top 5, but getting there. Once he beats someone that, you know, yeah. Once he beats a Nakatani or something, then we're probably talking top 5, in my opinion. He beat like a Nakatani, you put him in top 5. Because I think Nakatani is probably like top 15 for me. You know, Nakatani. You know, if he doesn't get, and I want to see him unify as well. I want to see him do more too. But I say Bam probably barely top 10, and I think Nakatani's top 15 for me. All right, so anyway, that's my thoughts on Bam Rodriguez. I'm out of here. Y'all have a good day. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.